I was trying to talk to him earlier, and I could have sworn when I got the thing, I sent it to Panerai, had it checked, and then this guy gives me papers that have the wrong frickin' like text on the top. So I don't know if he's messing with me or if I just missed something or it was missed. Yeah, like I've seen a bunch of Panerai that are jacked up. So can you call your guys in Texas and just confirm that the serial that they have for it is matching? Because right now, I can't trust that this guy is not messing around with shit, because he already sent it to a watch technician that I have no sort of dealings with in Miami, and you know how that is. Like Miami's hit or miss, right? So I can't trust the watch technician he brought it to, so I just need you to confirm with your guys at the boutique in Texas that this paperwork is legit, because the text on the top of the header, it doesn't even freaking make sense. Yeah, so just let me know. Yeah, I appreciate it. No, we're gonna figure it out no matter what, all right? But I gotta get to the bottom of this, because this is now 4 different people who think it's real, and you know, there's some yellow flags, all right? All right, yeah, if you could just get back to me, that would be perfect. All right, thanks, man. It's like a little magnifying glass called a jeweler's loop. It's just like this little magnifying glass. I guess we're just gonna wing it. Let's just we're doing it live. We got it. Second fucking time that happened. Good luck, John. All right. What's up, Watch Click? Cal here, Cal Knight, Watch Trading Academy. And I'm gonna teach you guys a little bit about how to identify fakes when it comes to luxury watches. So right here in front of me, on the valet, there are 3 different timepieces that we're gonna show you. And I'm gonna let you guess first which one is real, which one is fake, if there's multiple fakes, if there's multiple authentic pieces, and then give you some pointers about how you can reduce the risk of identifying fakes and how you can have your own process so that even as an independent counterparty buying pre-owned or new, you're not gonna come across a lot of these issues, okay? So the first one we have up, this rose gold Hublot Classic Fusion blue on blue in 45 millimeter right here. So this is a Hublot rose gold Classic Fusion. Clasp, case back. Okay, second up, Panerai Luminor 44 millimeter steel case, PAM 00111 with a see-through case back, small seconds with the sandwich dial, brown calf strap with the Panerai buckle, okay? Number 3, the Rolex Submariner in all yellow gold with black bezel, black dial. You kind of see the clasp, bracelet, and Rolex doesn't have much on the case back, but it is still relevant, right? We could zoom in all day. A lot of you are gonna know what's real and what's not. Some of you won't at all. So in this portfolio here, we have this Panerai, which is a fake, this Hublot, which is a fake, and this Submariner, which is real, okay? So I just wanted to change it up to give you some different examples. And the reason I actually like that we use these 3 brands in this video, and I'm gonna point out different things about these that are clear indicators of why it's fake and what to look for, is these are some of the most faked brands in the market. So there are luxury timepiece brands that we teach you how to buy, sell, and trade that are still outstanding in terms of keeping up authenticity. Cartier, for example, Ulysse Nardin, you got Frank Muller, you got anything from Audemars Piguet, Patek Philippe, right? But the industry for developing fakes has grown so intense and there's so much money being dumped into it that it's so thin in terms of the difference between some of these fakes that are so good. You need to be careful. So I'm gonna teach you what to look for and how you could identify which ones are fake and which ones are not. So on this Hublot to start, this one's relatively easy. Now from the face itself, you may not be able to tell the difference, and they did a really good job with this. Hublot is an easy brand to fake because the movements aren't usually the most high quality caliber. It's more about aesthetics and design with Hublot as a brand. So when you look at it from a first glance, it doesn't look too bad. Even the case back with the see-through is misleading because you look at the movement and you think, okay, they're not hiding anything. The movement looks like it would be a Hublot movement, especially since Hublot was using ETA Swiss movements, which are very mass produced and things that aren't hard to replicate, surprisingly. So you see the Hublot stamp and you might think, okay, we're good to go. But the telltale signs of this one that make it easy. Number 1, this rubberized gator strap is not real at all. It feels very fake. If you touch it, it's very, very shallow. And if you've seen one in person, it's much more detailed. It looks like actual high quality rubberized composite with the gator print. Now, this may not be something that's easy as someone who's new to this business, which is why I always say buy the seller. If you don't buy from a reputable seller or someone who has a high rapport and just wants to make a few $1,000s and doesn't care about their reputation, you might get stuck. Have a good watchmaker or watch technician. If you have a boutique down the street, if you have someone who's a trusted dealer who can look at this, you can also buy a jeweler's loupe, which is a 10x magnifying glass for $20 online. I like to take that and look at the case back, look at the intricacies of the movement in the dial, and match that up with Google Images online. And it's actually very easy to tell a lot of these fakes from the ones that are real just by doing that, which is not expensive. So as we continue to look through this piece, what was easy in terms of identifying it, and I've had a lot of these in gold, the weight is just not there. If it's a gold piece, you can feel the weight, and that's usually a telltale sign. You usually won't be able to obviously feel that until you hold the piece, but if you feel it immediately, you'll know right away something's up and you can investigate. The other is, if you look at the back, and this is very specific with Hublot, you might not be able to see it, but I'm pointing, there's usually a stamp about the type of metal that is used in the case, and that happens with different pieces. If it's AU, it's gold. If it's titanium, which it says this is titanium, another giveaway. It could be a steel or titanium fake case that they plated in gold, which is probably what it is. If it says titanium and there's a titanium clasp, that's a different story, but this is a steel clasp and it looks like this is aftermarket. So this was an easy to identify fake, but still would have fooled a lot of people. And unfortunately, I had this shipped to me first before I even paid $1, so I avoided it. So be careful, okay? With this gold Rolex, before I get to the Panerai, very easy to understand which one's authentic and which one's fake based on who I bought from. The seller I bought from multiple times. They are excessively large, independent watch collector, someone that gets all their timepieces checked, and all the serials on the rehout, which is the inner bezel here, the serial numbers match the warranty cards. So all the papers match, all of it's original. You can tell with a loupe, but Rolex is really, really, really well faked, and there's different grades of how good they are. So a AAA is different than an A or a AA, and there's some really crappy fakes out there that you'll buy on the streets of New York per se, but then there's some that are so good, they've fooled a lot of people who are watchmakers. And that's where it starts getting tricky, which is why I always say revert to buying the seller, not just looking at the watch itself. So knowing the reputation of the person I bought it from, seeing how everything lines up, everything matches, the actual weight of the gold is there, the stiffness of the bracelet, you know, you can just tell it's real. And when you do this long enough, it gets easier and easier, but you don't want to overlook your checklist. So bring it to a watch technician, get to know these guys, form a relationship with them, or ask people on the watch forums and see what they think. This one's pretty straightforward, and even though it's really, really, really faked a lot, and there's some really good ones out there, that one's legit. And then we come to this Panerai 111, and the reason that I like to talk on this one, you saw me talking on the phone earlier, is this one got real intense. So I bought this one from someone who I know, who got it off of eBay. And the crappy part about eBay is they didn't have the authenticity process back then. So if I bought it from someone that I knew on eBay, I trusted that they probably checked the watch when they didn't. Then I resold this watch, and it got down the line 2 to 3 people. And what ended up happening, and this is probably the only one I've missed initially, in 8 to 9 years of doing this and having traded thousands of watches, is I brought this directly to a watchmaker first. So when I knew this was watch only and it didn't have matching box and papers, I know how tricky it is with Panerai. And I brought it to my watch technician, he looked at it, and he said, yeah, it looks good to me. So I said, okay, looks good to him. So it must be decent. And then, you know, I sold it to the next guy, and then the next guy enjoyed it, and then he sold it to someone else. And then I had the guy come back and go, hey, I think there's something up with this. I sent it to Panerai for a service, and they're saying that it's not authentic. And now you have to be careful and take some photos and videos and make sure you're documenting your process, which is why I always tell you to have a checklist, because if you don't look at those and you take their word for it, a lot of times they're trying to scam you or fake because they don't want the watch or they're trying to get money. So I had to track down the entire line of people who had it, look at their photos, look at mine, make sure the serials on the back matched, make sure the case number matched. They brought it to a watchmaker before they even brought it to Panerai, and the watchmaker there said it was authentic. So we had 2 independent watchmakers miss this, but the clear sign that finally caught it, beyond Panerai by the way, it was someone in the Facebook enthusiast groups, and you guys join these, you can ask people. Some of them have no idea what they're talking about, so don't listen. But the 2 that really give it away, and the strap should have been the first one, but I didn't put the strap on. There is this absolutely garbage, like non-quality real leather strap. So that would have been an indicator, like a flag, but doesn't necessarily mean the watch is fake. The second is, even the striations on this movement are great. The swan neck regulator, which is this little piece here that comes out and looks like a swan's neck, is slightly off from the authentic swan neck regulator on this model. Now, how would one have been able to catch this without getting involved in this? If you Google it and you look closely, really closely, you can see the difference, right? So in this case, the good news is you're only as good as the person that you sold it to, or that you kind of bought it from, right? So the person that I knew made it right, and we ended up all doing okay on this in terms of just making sure everyone was taken care of. The people that got it down the line didn't have to pay anything, they got their money back, and me and the guy who were involved made it right. But I kept this one because out of the thousands of deals, this is the only one that was tricky, because 2 watchmakers let it go, and it was almost perfect minus the swan neck regulator, and this strap wasn't on it when I had it. So the increasingly crazy part about this, and I'll wrap it up for you, is I got this letter from Panerai that the customer had gotten saying that this is not authentic, but what threw it off again is the text on it isn't even the new Panerai lettering. So I had my guy at Panerai here, who's a good friend, call the Panerai in that other location and confirm that this was authentic letterhead, and he said it is, but they don't use this text anymore. So they were using letterhead that was outdated. What the hell, right? So sometimes this can get, tricky, but just know it's really not as much risk as you think. If you're using that checklist, you have a watch technician or a maker, and you buy the seller first. We teach you all this in the Watch Trading Academy, guys, so you're safe. And again, after thousands of deals, if this is the only one that got by, that's really good. And all said and done, it was probably 1,500 out the door. But I kept it for the wall of fame/shame because it's a really good fake, and it's one that I like to teach with. So make sure you actually have a checklist. Make sure you trust your person, or if you don't know an independent person that maybe doesn't realize these brands as well, go to an actual boutique and have them look at it. Pay them, if you have to, $100 to just authenticate it and look up the serial number, because they will do that because they want to help and it's their brand. You know what I mean? So I hope this was helpful. There's a lot more that I can give you in terms of the details on how to avoid fakes and getting scammed. It's all in Watch Trading Academy. If you'd like to join an elite group of traders making a lot of money doing this, like, share, subscribe below to join for more ongoing content. Let me know if you've come across any good fakes, or if you see anything in these watches that is another indicator. I'm always interested in hearing your thoughts and feedback, and I hope you take care, and I hope you enjoy authentic, amazing timepieces going forward.